Hello everyone, welcome to Technology Begins. In this video, we will learn about class method and static methods in a Python. So, what is the class method and static method? Class method is bound to the class, not to the object of the class. Okay, and static method is also same as the class method, and static method is also not bound to the object, but it is bound to the class. And what it means, so whenever we are uh, declaring the class method using class decorator, so whenever we want to create a class method, so first of all we need to declare this decorator before the method, so class can understand this method is declared as the class method. And for this static method, this is also the same thing. We need to declare the static method decorator before the function definition. Okay, so class can understand that this is the static method of the class. So this is how you can define the class method and the static method. And this class method is how it is bind to the class and not to the object. So whenever we uh, are calling this class method, then we don't need to create the object. Okay, and we can directly pass any parameter which required for class is directly to this method itself. And while using the class method, you need to make sure that you must need to pass the first parameter as the class. Okay, so this is class parameter which you must need to pass in while you are declaring the method as a class method, and this class is representing this class itself. Okay, and after that, whatever parameter you need to for this constructor, which parameter you need to pass in this method itself. Okay, so this is how you can construct the class method. And for static method, you don't need to pass any specific argument like class method. Okay, you can create the static method without passing any specific arguments. So this is how you can create the static method. And uh, while using the class method, and that class method is change the variables of the class and which is applied to all the instance of the class. Okay, basically class method can change the state of the class or variable of the class. Okay, and using static method you can we cannot change the state of the class. Okay, why? Because we are not taking any uh, we don't know the class variables and what is the state of the class while using the static method. But in the class method we have the class as the first parameter, so we can change the state of the class using this class parameter. Okay, so this is how you can change the state using class method, and using static method you cannot change anything. Static method is basically used for utility function, which are the common function needs to perform on the uh, class parameters. Okay, we will see by taking this example how this example is working. And class method is used for creating the factory method, and that factory method is returning as the class object for different use cases, right? So let's see the example and try to understand how this class method and static method are used for factory creating factory method and the utility function task. Okay, respectively. So here, and this method we have defined without class and static method, that is called the instance method. Okay, and for instance method we must need to create the instance of the class, and then only we can call this method. So we have here, we have imported the date time, and after that we have declared the class employee, and after that we have construct the constructor using def init method, and that init method is accepting two parameters, name and age. We have assigned into the self keyword to use in the different methods. Okay, so after that we have created the one instance method which will call only if we are creating the class instance. After that we have declared the class method using class decorator, and which method is basically giving us the age from the year. Okay, so whenever we want to get the age from the year, then and you will call this method of the class get age from year, then you need to pass first parameter as the class itself, after that name and year. Then it will what it will do, so this will do, we will pass the parameter to the class and name, whatever parameter which is accepted by this constructor we need to pass from to this class parameter which are coming into this method name, and other one is year. We are calculating the year age from the year based on the current year, right? So if I am passing the 1996 in the year, then what will be the age of that employee? So current year is 2020 minus 1996, so this will give us the 24. Okay, so this is how you can uh, calculate the age from the year, and this is the basically a factory method, and which is returning the class object. Why class object? Because we are returning this class itself, and this is used differently, used for different use cases, right? So whenever we want to get the age from the year, then we can call this method of the class, and if we have only the name and age, then we can directly call this employee, right? And what is the use of our static method? Static method is basically declared using static method decorator, and we and static method is used only for utility task. Utility task means common task which is repeated many times in your code. So whenever you want to check this employee's age is correct for this designation or not, like whenever any company which are hiring the employee, so they have the some condition like this employee age must be greater than this or less than this. Okay, so that is the condition which we are checking over here. So over here employee age must be a greater than 21, so that's why we have created this check age. So while using class method and static method, we don't need to create any instance for this class. We can directly use that and pass the parameter into it and use it. So let's see how we can call this class method and static method and the instance method. So we have created one employee instance and call the instance method. So this will return the instance method is called. Okay, and let's see class method we will call. So how we can call this? So we need to take employee dot get, we need to access the method directly, we don't need to create an instance of that class, and we will pass the argument like John and 20 and year. Okay, then what it will return, we need to print out. So that will return us the class object, and according to the class object we can access the variables of the class. So this is the class object, it has returned this our class method. After that, if I want to get age from this class method, then it will return as the 24 according to this year. Okay, so this is how you can use the class method without creating the instance of the class. And static method also, you don't need to create the instance of the class because it is bound to class, not the object. Static method, for static method is check age, and we need to pass the parameter as the age. If I am passing 20, then it will return as if that will true or false. Right? If I am clear this and run this program, then as you can see it will return as the false. So basically this is utility task to check whenever this employee is having the age which is suitable for its post or not. Okay, so this employee or this employee age is not, this can we can say candidate, so this candidate age is not according to the requirement of the post. Okay, and if I'm going to do 22, then it will return as the true. Okay, so this candidate is, we can say instead of employee we can say candidate also. Example is anything, but you can check, you can use this check age as a utility, and you don't need to create instance for to call this method every time, and you can check this thing. Okay, and why this static method is present, because this is related to this class itself. That's why we have created this static method inside of this class. We can define this function any outside of the class also, but this needs to be present inside of this class because this is related to this particular candidate or employee. Okay, and it is checking the age accordingly. So the static method is used for checking the utility tasks, and class method is used for creating the factory method, and which is returning as the class object, and using class object we can use in the different use cases as we have seen the example. So I hope you have understood the concept of class method and static method and the instance method, and how it will be called and how we can use that. Thank you. See you in the next video.